This series of video lectures will be exploring the latest features that are going to be part of C# version 12. To do this, first of all, ensure that you have Microsoft Visual Studio installed on your machine. And over here you can see the version I have is 17.7.5. And once you have confirmed that, you need to go to Tools and then choose this Manage Preview feature. Click on that and scroll down and do ensure that you have selected Use Previews of .NET SDK. Once you have done that, click on OK and you're good to go. So whenever you want to try out the preview features, all you need to do is go to Files, click on New Project, and here whenever you'll be selecting some project type and clicking on Next, like over here, you are provided with these features now. So this .NET 8 preview will be part of the framework, and that's what I've done over here. Now that being said, the first thing that we'll be covering today is primary constructor. Now if you see the previous versions, whenever we used to create a class, we were supposed to create a default constructor whenever we required, and this is how we used to do that. So it's like a primary construct for every class. Now with C# 12, we can simplify this. So instead of having to define a default constructor like this, we can have a constructor right away. So the class definition itself is now having that feature. So here you are providing the name and age, and these two are then used over here as getters and setters for name and age attributes. So here we can say that whenever we want to create a student class, these two parameters are mandatory, and that's what the default constructor is going to do for us. Like over here, we can go back to our program.cs, and over here, so I've modified this variable to integer for age. That's more appropriate now. And now if I go to program.cs, and here you can see we have created an instance of the student class right away over here. So we are providing the name of the student and the age of the student. And if you want to create a student with default values, so what we can do is we can just pass something like this. So notice that you need to provide values for the primary constructor parameters even when using the default constructor. This ensures that the necessary information is always provided. Primary constructors simplify your code by making it clear which data is essential for an object, and they eliminate the need for writing additional constructors to initialize properties. Now let's run this to see it in action. And there we go. We have the hello world and then the student name, Alice, and unknown. So let's quickly recap what exactly primary constructors in C# is. So it basically allows you to declare a constructor in classes and structs by placing any parameter in the parentheses following the type name. So here you can see that that's what we have done. These parameters are accessible throughout the entire body of the declaring type and can be used to initialize properties, fields, or passed to a base constructor. So here we are initializing these two properties, name and age. In simple terms, primary constructors in C# 12 are like a special way to create objects in your code. When you use them, you put some important information like a person's name or age right when you make an object. This information is needed for the object to work correctly. Like we have over here student class, and you want every student to have a name and an age. You can use a primary constructor to make sure every student has these details. Now, when you create a new student, you have to provide a name and an age. It's like saying to create a student, you must tell me their name and age. This way, you don't need to write extra code to set the name and age later. It happens automatically. But there's a rule. If you use a primary constructor, you cannot make a student without providing a name and age. You can't say, I want to create a student, but I don't know their name or age yet. This makes sure that every student has the necessary information from the start. In a nutshell, primary constructors help you to create objects with the right information from the beginning, and they make your code simpler and more reliable.